So we're recording now and we'll edit that out as we go. So I just wanted to introduce, we're trying to check in with our brothers and sisters in Christ and seeing once how everyone is doing. And this is Christine Green, and I'll introduce her. And we're going to begin with a simple question, which is, how are you doing with quarantine in this time, this extraordinary time?
So quarantine for me is a little different because I'm really not quarantined. I can't be. I'm one of the few essential workers, and I never thought working in a grocery store that important and become an essential worker. So I think it's a lot different. I mean, my family is, and they've had to spend a lot of time together. I think they're doing really well with it. Everybody's got a corner of the house, and they come together at different parts of the day to talk and kibitz and entertain each other, to give each other a break, and then they go off and do their own things again. But again, I'm more out and visiting the quarantine people as opposed to. So in that sense, I think I have it a little bit easier than a lot of people right now, because having that mental break and being able to get out and be with other people other than just your core group, which is what's hard for, I think, for a lot of people. And some people have no core group. They're just really all alone.
So given that you're out on the front lines, in a sense, with an essential worker, it makes sense that you're not feeling quarantined the same way. But all of us are experiencing a certain hypervigilance and some anxiety that goes along with that. In your work and being more essential and out on the front lines, how has dealing with some of that anxiety gone for you, and how have you found that experience?
So I think initially it was much harder because day by day things changed, and it went from, oh, is this really a big deal, to, oh, it is a big deal. Oh, what are we going to do? And every day I went into work, it would be a new set of rules. It would be a new thing we have to follow, a new protocol. With that said, I'm lucky I work for a company who did take it very seriously from the beginning and has listened to the public and has listened to the experts and has listened to their employees. But you had to, it was very difficult to deal with the public sometimes, who didn't always take it seriously or were feeling stressed about it. And we have to try to make them feel at ease through all the protocol and the things that we have to do.
Sure.
Whether it's, wearing a mask or keeping your hands clean and keeping your distance. And it can be, I see in my coworkers that some days we have a good day and we can laugh it off and we can take it in stride. And other days they want to rip their hair out because people just will not respect personal space and keep the distance, or you get somebody who wants to, refuses to wear a mask or yells at us because we're being, crazy and overcautious. And we have people telling us, I can manage myself, thank you, don't tell me what to do, that kind of stuff. So it really depends on the day. It goes up, there's a lot of up and down.
Sure. And I think that makes sense. And I'm sorry that you're having to deal with people who are maybe not wanting to follow the rules or not thinking in a larger perspective. In light of that a little bit, and also some of the anxiety and the up and down sort of things, how have you seen God show up in unexpected ways or in different ways in light of this time and the roller coaster of days?
One of the things that comes to mind, I know this is going to sound strange, but that people are returning the carts when they are shopping. Now, I know that sounds weird, but one of the things that people always do is when they take their carts out to the car to put their groceries in the car, they just leave the cart where it's at. They never return it to the front or even to the little space you're supposed to. They're always all over the parking lot. And for whatever reason, people have started, because they know we clean them for them. So between each use, we're disinfecting the carts. And since we've started to do that, people have started bringing the carts back. And I just thought that was an interesting phenomenon. And what it made me realize is that it was that little bit of appreciation for what we were trying to do to make things better for them. And people were recognizing that we were working hard to make a safe environment for them to shop in and make it as pleasant as we can in midst of a difficult situation. And the least they could do was to bring the carts back. And when they do, we get over and over again. I was saying before that there's this anxiety and stress and some people aren't nice, but it really is the minority. It's not the majority. Okay. And most people are very appreciative and are doing those little things they can just to say thank you. And it's those kind of thank yous and the appreciation that really does get you through the one or two that are not so nice. And so I think that's the biggest, if I had to say how God was showing up, God was showing, shows us on little ways in that sense, the appreciation for the hard work. Yeah.
Well, it's amazing how much gratitude can reshape and put a better perspective on a situation that's really hard. In some ways, gratitude is instead of focusing on what we've lost, it's focusing on what we still have and the good things. And so I can appreciate that for sure. In light of things that we still have in gratitude, we have some things that we've lost in church, with not being able to meet, not having fellowship, all of those things. But in trying to focus more on what we still have, how have you seen church still play a role in your life?
Oh, I just feel so blessed that we've all been able to stay together. I have many friends and relatives who their churches just stopped meeting, and I just couldn't imagine that. I think it would, if I had that sense of loss of that on top of everything else, I think I would just, it would be devastating. So I feel that so happy that everybody in our congregation was willing to make it work and continue to do whatever they can to make it work and still come together for ministry and Bible study when we can and to serve when we can, because that's lifted me up and helps me to have hope every single day to keep going forward, knowing that our community is staying strong. And I'm so pleased that it's allowed new people to come and join us for church, and people that moved away that now are with us again. And I hope that they can continue.
For sure. Right. Yeah, no, I mean, I have a friend of mine who couldn't figure out the Zoom, and they ended up not meeting in person anymore. And he just wrote his sermons and mailed them out to people. And it was so discouraging for him and a lot of the community. It kind of breaks my heart to hear of people that you know of that aren't able to worship, or the churches have just kind of shut down.
I was surprised specifically how many people thought, well, we could do that Zoom thing, but there's so many people who can't figure it out or won't have the technology. And I think our congregation is proof that no, if there's a willingness, I mean, I think there are a lot of people that didn't necessarily have the right technology, but have figured out how to make it work, whether it's just on their phone or they go to a friend's house or they, come together as a family to do it. And I'm impressed and proud that everybody was able to figure it out so we could make it work.
Yeah. It's another way of seeing God in unexpected ways. People are willing to kind of go the extra mile to have the community be a part of their life. So it's kind of cool. Last question is, how have you been able to serve or been served in these circumstances? You've mentioned some of the ways, but if there's anything more that you'd want to share about serving or being served?
Um, I think that I'm glad that I got to be part of our new food pantry. Working at Trader Joe's, we put these shares, in boxes every day, all day long. Every time we're doing a section and cleaning something up, it's like, oh, an apple with a bruise. Oh, this opened up a little bit. Oh, the packaging is, and all day long we're back there marking things off on the computer and putting it in a box. And it was nice to see the full circle and be able to be there when we could then distribute that food. And I was able to share, it got in the newspaper, and thanks to Lisa, she wrote a little article about it and all the people connected to it. And I was able to hang that up in our break room, and in case people weren't from our town, didn't get the paper. And many people commented, oh, that's great. Oh, that's your church. Oh, you got to be a part of that. Who put that together? And so it just created more conversation, and it created more conversation about how you can be a part of serving. And so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, fantastic. I think it's interesting to be one of the few that can kind of connect the loop,
Yeah.
So you're on the front end of it and on the giving end of it, on the other end of it to the community. And I really appreciate you clipping the article and sharing it, because it's a safe and subtle way of sharing the ways in which Christians can give and serve the community and partner with people, right? Because as a church, we couldn't do this if we didn't partner both with Trader Joe's and with this other nonprofit. So I think it's
it really shows how it takes many hands and many partnerships to make things happen.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you for being willing to share your story and answers to these questions. It's been inspiring and encouraging for me, and we'll share it on Facebook and with our church. And I hope it inspires and encourages them as well. So God bless.
Thank you.
You're welcome.